The movie follows the story of a couple named Vet and Tara. Vet is a man who has always been fascinated with stories from a young age. He used to visit an old road storyteller who often mixed up his characters, and Vet would give him money from his savings in exchange for stories due to his love and passion for them. However, his teachers would complain to his parents about this behavior. One day, while on vacation in Corsica, Tara asked a restaurant owner for a call, but he refused. Tara got angry and insulted him in her native language, then left abruptly. Vet followed her and offered his cell phone for her to use. While at the airport, she cries and complains that her bags have been misplaced. She also tells him that she loves Asterix and Corsica, which he finds amusing. Later on, she agrees to use his phone, but when she tries to return it, he comes up with an idea. They make an amusing verbal pact to keep their real identities undisclosed, pretending to be Don and Mona Darling, and speak in dramatic and hilarious filmy dialogues. They return to the restaurant where the owner gives her a card from Don telling her to be at the museum. This causes the man to apologize to him. She goes to the venue, where she waits for him and is given food. At the festival, they dance together. As their time on the island continues, they explore it together and remain close despite their growing romantic feelings for each other. They make a pact that whatever happens in Corsica stays in Corsica. They meet Vet's friends and lie, claiming that Tara is an actress. She keeps up the lie and tells people that Vet creates movies. Later, he tells a story to everyone in the restaurant, and the audience is highly entertained, celebrating him for his good performance. Tara realizes that she is falling in love with Vet, but decides to leave Corsica anyway. She is given her passport and prepares to leave on the same day. However, before leaving, she returns to Vet's room, kisses him, and tells him that they will never meet again. After their kiss, Tara leaves for the airport and returns to Calcutta, India. Father hands over his tea business to her, and she expands it by starting a line of tea boutiques, taking the company to new heights. Tara is off to Delhi for work, and years pass by as her life changes. Its witty, amusing personality is gone as he focuses on work. Now works as a product manager and delivers quality presentations to his clients. Dresses differently, wearing suits and ties all the time, as his father urged him to stop thinking about stories and make something of himself. Advises him to go to college and do something great in life. One day, Tara surprisingly meets Vet, and they reveal their true identities to each other. She confesses that she knew he had been around all this time and wanted him to notice her. They plan a date at a Japanese restaurant, and he gives her flowers. She expects him to talk like the days they spent in Corsica, but Vet only talks about business. Briefly notices a change in his behavior and asks if everything is all right, to which he assures her that it is. After the date, he drops her off at home, and she calls him to invite him over. However, she notices that he is not very present. Vet leaves for his home, and the next morning, he wakes up on time, completes his morning chores, wipes his car, and lets a female colleague into the lift on his way to the office. He arranges another date with Tara for later in the evening. His routine remains the same every morning. On Vet's birthday, he proposes to Tara by placing a diamond ring on her cake. His friends eagerly await her answer, but instead of answering, she asks to speak with him outside. Once outside, she declines the proposal, stating that he is different from the guy she initially met. He argues that he was just role-playing, but Tara believes that he is hiding behind another person and that it is all fake. It's that it is all in her imagination, but she rejects him, saying that she is looking for someone else. Vet cries after they break up, turns to the restaurant and lies to his guests, stating that they have things to work on. Unknown to Tara, Vet's mental health is triggered and he starts to behave strangely. He goes home and talks to himself in the mirror, promising to stay calm. Later, he goes out for drinks with his colleagues and gets drunk. After that, he visits Tara at her house, and she becomes concerned about his health. When he shouts at her, he tells her that he is just an ordinary person like everyone else. Tara argues that she knows the real him that is hiding behind a mask, but he yells at her, saying that she doesn't know anything about him. Tara tries to comfort him, but he leaves upset. a conversation with a writer and wonders why he didn't go to the movies. The writer confides in Vet, pouring his heart out and explaining how having children changed his life. This triggers Vet's residual mental disorder, causing him to have problems at work. His boss reprimands him for not dressing well and for losing focus over a girl. Despite this, Vet delivers a presentation, but it fails to meet expectations. Tara becomes worried about Vet's mental state and calls him. Though he assures her that he will be okay, she remains unconvinced and asks to meet him. They meet at a restaurant, and Tara apologizes for hitting. She spoke about the changes in his life. Vet becomes upset and tells her that she is not a psychologist and is not allowed to psychoanalyze him. Tara apologizes again and asks for the ring as she desperately wants to marry Vet. He tries to leave him and confesses her love. Unfortunately, Vet rejects her, stating that her energy is negative. He tells her that someday the dawn will return. Tara tries to comfort him, but he abruptly leaves and wanders around the streets. She follows him to an abandoned place and kneels, asking for forgiveness. However, Vet doesn't say anything and leaves. The next day, he continues his office routine but gives a diamond ring to someone on the way. As a result, he is evicted from his work. Vet's continuous mindless behavior results in him being fired from his workplace. Due to his psychotic break, he gives a bad and silly presentation that upsets his boss, who calls him to the office to discuss the root of his problem. Harshly, and security is called to escort him out of the building after he is fired. Ed displays rash behavior and gets physical, leading to concerns about his safety. Home, shaves, and attends job interviews to start over. He shares his story with a couple of people at an eatery. An unemployed vet returns to Shimla and confesses to his parents that he has been jobless and wandering for 6 months. Fed's father gets upset with him for something he did and castigates him for not being good in life. Fed gets annoyed that his father doesn't support or listen to him and swears to leave the house. In his room, he recalls his younger self being infatuated with stories, and he decides to complete his own story. He goes to meet the old storyteller, who is now old and delusional. When the old man starts telling the story, Fed notices that it is not complete and calls him out on it. This causes the old man to react harshly and criticize Fed's irrationality. The old storyteller confronts Fed, encouraging him to complete his own story. It's important for Fed to remember to communicate his side of the story clearly and honestly, try to understand others, and work as a team to resolve any conflicts that may arise. This experience opens Vet's eyes, and he feels excited. He leaves and runs through the streets, happy and dancing with school children. Later, he narrates his life story to his family members and promises his father that he will not live an ordinary life. His father hugs him, and they reconcile their differences. On the way, Vet encounters the beggar who returns his lost ring. She tells him that the ring will fulfill his heart's desires. Vet decides to make amends with Tara. After finishing a business meeting in Tokyo, Tara heads for refreshments and finds a note titled Dawn that leaves her perplexed about God's presence. She moves around the office campus, and Vet draws her attention with his charming personality from Corsica. Later on, Vet and Tara collaborate to put up an elaborate skit on stage, depicting their own life story. It's a show and everyone applauds Wit for his feat. He thanks Tara for her support and kisses her. Thank you for watching, like and subscribe.